Hey, what's up, AwareWolves? Happy Sunday, the day of the week where we reflect, try to become more whole, more holy. Hope you've had a good week. The weather around here hasn't been the greatest, but at least we have weather. You know, all the other planets in the solar system don't have quite as hospitable weather, so I'm glad I'm on this planet. Now, today's a sad day, but only because it's the end of the Olympics. Y'all probably tired of hearing me talk about the Olympics, but they're just where the whole world comes together, puts their differences aside, and shows sportsmanship and respect for one another. And I mean, how can you get better than that? It's also a time where the greatest athletes in the entire world, I can't say the universe because I don't know, but the greatest athletes in the world get together and get the opportunity to either cement their legacy, perpetuate their legacy, or maybe even tarnish their legacy. I'm going to talk about maybe a little bit of each today, since the topic of today's video is, what legacy are you leaving? What is your legacy? The first thing we need to do is define legacy. And legacy is more or less simplified down to your reputation. You know, what people expect from you based on what maybe your past might be, but hopefully more importantly what your present is. But it's just a kind of a record of what you've done, what you've contributed, and things of that sort. And legacies, you know, are essentially the equivalent of a Wikipedia page. You know, if you were to hear about someone that you didn't know about, but you wanted to learn more about it, you'd go to the internet and you'd Google their name. One of the first entries would be Wikipedia, and then Wikipedia would list their accomplishments, their contributions to mankind, where they're from, and all that type of stuff. Well, your legacy or your reputation is essentially just your living Wikipedia page. You know, you are currently writing your Wikipedia page. Some are going to have ups and downs. A lot of people's lives, the people who've had the most downs, sometimes have the most interesting stories, and oftentimes win in the end, if that makes any sense. We're not going to define winning and losing in that sense right now, but you kind of get the idea. Your legacy is essentially your Wikipedia page. So you're actually writing your Wikipedia page by what you do. Now, there's good legacies and people who are known for bad things, and good people known for bad things, and bad people known for good things. Michael Phelps has a legacy. He's just a winner. He's able to do what it takes. When you think of Michael Phelps, when you think of Usain Bolt, you think of gold. Gold. You don't think of anything other than gold. Well, Phelps had a DUI or smoked weed. Usain Bolt smoked weed. Fastest man in the world, fastest man in water, and they enjoy weed. That's another story. But back to my point, those guys have a legacy that they perpetuate, that is very, very smiled upon. Then you got people maybe like Ryan Lochte, who has a legacy of being very good in the pool, but very ungood in his personal life. He has a kind of a reputation of being like the frat boy, asshole, just kind of a douchebag. I mean, he did a photo shoot with GQ. Please Google those pictures and you'll know what I mean. Then what does Ryan Lochte do at these Olympics? He perpetuates his legacy. He kind of gets buried under his own reputation. You know, people kind of know what to expect from him. What did Michael Phelps do during this Olympics? He sealed his legacy as one of the greatest living athletes ever. What did Usain Bolt do? He sealed his legacy as the greatest sprinter in the history, recorded current history. I mean, how awesome is that? You know, people are going to know about them for as long as we have information. There's going to be people faster one day and people with more medals, but you know, they've done what they could to perpetuate their legacy. Now I want to talk about you and your legacy for a moment. What is your legacy? Do you have any idea what you're known for? Do you know what your family and close friends and coworkers, do you know what they really think about you? Because if you don't, then you may want to kind of analyze why you don't, but also start to try to make yourself aware of this. Because if you have a bad reputation and you don't recognize it, you're going to continue to have a bad reputation. The only way to create a good reputation, unless maybe you know something I don't, seems like it would be to recognize your bad reputation and then take the necessary steps, hold yourself accountable, show some discipline, show some consistency to rewrite your legacy. Because today's all you got. Don't look too far back in the past. Don't get caught staring. You'll miss what's in front of you, okay? So focus on now. Focus on everything you say, every thought you think. You are literally writing your Wikipedia page. What do you want it to say? What do you want it to say? Think about this. Because while other people can influence your thoughts, decisions, actions, emotions, ultimately you're in control. You know, you could just as easily handle it the opposite, maybe not as easily. Let me rephrase that. You could have, despite all the effort it would take, you could have chosen an opposite way to handle it. It just is what it is. You got to accept that, okay? You got to know that everything that you do is a choice based on whatever information or lack of information you have and how you interpret that information. Okay? Be aware of that, because maybe that will remind you that you are actually in the power of the choices that you make. Maybe you'll stop blaming your doctor or your professors or your spouse or your family or your friends for the positions that you're in. But you will at least also share the blame for your reputation, for your legacy, for your actions, thoughts, emotions, beliefs, ideologies, and the like. Remember that you're writing your legacy every day. This will make you more aware of the things that you do that might negatively affect you or your environment, especially you, and especially your environment. I hope you've gotten something from today's videos. We made it through 5 whole weeks. Hopefully you've done a little bit of research on the other videos that I do about specifically my fitness journey. Hopefully you're being as positive as you can despite the circumstances, and hopefully you understand after this conversation that you and I just had, you and only you write your legacy. 3 Rivers, AwareWolves, love you. See you tomorrow.